These animals are some of the lucky ones. They were all adopted from shelters or rescue organizations and are now living safe, comfortable lives. But these lucky cats and dogs are just a sliver of the whopping 8 million that enter shelters each year in just the United States alone. If all 8 million animals were adopted in Washington, D.C., every single person who lives there would have to own about 14 animals. But in reality, about 1/3 of the animals that end up in shelters are euthanized because of capacity limitations and an overall lack of resources to support the growing number of animals. One factor that is largely responsible for the growing population of homeless pets is domestic breeding. The practice of breeding has long been in contention, and some breeders are more responsible than others. But any kind of breeding is irresponsible when you take into consideration the amount of animals that are already homeless. There are also some ethical issues worth considering about the health of purebred animals. Because of the long line of inbreeding, the genetic diversity in each type of breed has been slowly decreasing over the years. This means that purebreds are more likely to receive a recessive gene from each parent instead of having equal chances of inheriting dominant or recessive genes. This increases the likelihood that purebreds will develop dangerous recessive-linked diseases on top of the other generic health problems that are common within certain breeds. Think arthritis for large dog breeds and higher chances of diabetes in some cat breeds. But despite our knowledge about these health risks, people still continue to purchase purebred animals. Many pet owners are dedicated followers of the social culture that surrounds breeding. Social events such as dog shows teach the public that dogs that are the prettiest and most closely resemble the true breed are most desirable. People feel proud to be able to buy top-notch animals from breeders who claim they come from distinguished bloodlines. Many people are also guilty of only keeping their pet while they think it's still cute. They buy a purebred puppy or kitten and then end up abandoning it once it has outgrown its initial appeal. Humans' materialistic tendency to only buy the best, most coveted pets overlooks the fact that there are thousands of other animals out there waiting for the same home. But there's light at the end of the tunnel. One widely accepted solution to help combat the problem of breeding is for pet owners to spay and neuter their animals. If we can be responsible in our own homes by giving both our adopted and purebred pets the old snip snip, then we can do our part to decrease the amount of animals without a loving home. We can also be proactive about only adopting animals from shelters. This would counter the issues of breeding and would make room in that shelter for more animals that may need it more. One example of real-world adoption success comes from the Tate family. They currently have 4 adopted cats, but they've always been supporters of adopting pets from shelters.
I grew up with a family that always adopted cats, so when the time came for me to adopt my own, of course, I felt that I needed to look at local shelters. I did my research, looked online to find what shelters and rescues were in my area, and I ended up adopting an adult cat I named Apollo. It's been a very rewarding experience having him in my life, and I love knowing that I saved him, and now I have a companion for life.
Everyone needs to know that adopted animals behave and respond the same way as purebreds. So if you want a pet to care for and love, then rescue one from a shelter and give them the chance to love you in return.